Of course, no matter how keenly, how admirably a story, a piece of music, a picture is discussed and analyzed, and there will be minds that remain blank and spines that remain unkindled. To take upon us the mystery of things, what King Lear so wistfully says for himself and for Cordelia, and this is also my suggestion for everyone who takes art seriously. A poor man is robbed of his overcoat, Gogol's the greatcoat, or more correctly, the carrick. Another poor fellow is turned into a beetle, Kafka's The Metamorphosis. So what? And there is no rational answer to so what. We can take the story apart, we can find out how the bits fit, how one part of the pattern responds to the other, but you have to have in you some cell, some gene, some germ that will vibrate in answer to sensations that you can neither define nor dismiss. Beauty plus pity, that is the closest we can get to a definition of art. Where there is beauty, there is pity, for the simple reason that beauty must die. Beauty always dies. The manner dies with the matter, the world dies with the individual. If Kafka's The Metamorphosis strikes anyone as something more than an entomological fantasy, then I congratulate him on having joined the ranks of good and great readers. I want to discuss fantasy and reality and their mutual relationship. If we consider the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story as an allegory, the struggle between good and evil within every man, then this allegory is tasteless and childish. And to the type of mind that would see an allegory here, its shadow play would also postulate physical happenings which common sense knows to be impossible. But actually, in the setting of the story, as viewed by a commonsensical mind, nothing at first sight seems to run counter to general human experience. I want to suggest, however, that a second look shows that the setting of the story does run counter to general human experience, and that Utterson and the other men around Jekyll are, in a sense, as fantastic as Mr. Hyde. Unless we see them in a fantastic light, there is no enchantment, and if the enchanter leaves and the storyteller and the teacher remain alone together, they make poor company. The story of Jekyll and Hyde is beautifully constructed, but it is an old one. Its moral is preposterous, since neither good nor evil is actually depicted. On the whole, they are taken for granted, and the struggle goes on between two empty outlines. The enchantment lies in the art of Stevenson's fancy work, but I want to suggest that since art and thought, manner and matter are inseparable, there must be something of the same kind about the structure of the story, too. Let us be cautious, however. I still think that there is a flaw in the artistic realization of the story if you consider form and content separately, a flaw which is missing in Gogol's The Carrick and in Kafka's The Metamorphosis. The fantastic side of the setting, Utterson, Enfield, Poole, Lanyon and their London, is not of the same quality as the fantastic side of Jekyll's Hydeization. There is a crack in the picture, a lack of unity. The Carrick, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and The Metamorphosis, all three are commonly called fantasies. From my point of view, any outstanding work of art is a fantasy insofar as it reflects the unique world of a unique individual. But when people call these three stories fantasies, they merely imply that the stories depart in their subject matter from what is commonly called reality. Let us therefore examine what reality is, in order to discover in what manner and to what extent so-called fantasies depart from so-called reality. Let us take three types of men walking through the same landscape. Number one is a city man on a well-deserved vacation. Number two is a professional botanist. Number three is a local farmer. Number one, and the city man is what is called a realistic, commonsensical, matter-of-fact type. He sees trees as trees and knows from his map that the road he is following is a nice new road leading to Newton, where there is a nice eating place recommended to him by a friend in his office. The botanist looks around and sees his environment in the very exact terms of plant life, precise biological and classified units such as specific trees and grasses, flowers and ferns, and for him this is reality. To him, the world of the stolid tourist who cannot distinguish an oak from an elm seems a fantastic, vague, dreamy, never world. Finally, the world of the local farmer differs from the two others in that his world is intensely emotional and personal, since he has been born and bred there and knows every trail and individual tree. and every shadow from every tree across every trail, all in warm connection with his everyday work and his childhood, and 1,000 small things and patterns which the other two, the humdrum tourist and the botanical taxonomist, simply cannot know in the given place at the given time. Our farmer will not know the relation of the surrounding vegetation to a botanical conception of the world, and the botanist will know nothing of any importance to him about that barn or that old field or that old house under its cottonwoods, which are afloat, as it were, in a medium of personal memories for one who was born there. So here we have three different worlds, three men, ordinary men, who have different realities. And of course, we could bring in a number of other beings: a blind man with a dog, a hunter with a dog with his man, a panther cruising in quest of a sunset, a girl out of gas. In every case, it would be a world completely different from the rest, since the most objective words, tree, road, flower, sky, barn, thumb, rain, have, in each, totally different subjective connotations. Indeed, this subjective life is so strong that it makes an empty and broken shell of the so-called objective existence. The only way back to objective reality is the following one. We can take these several individual worlds, mix them thoroughly together, scoop up a drop of that mixture, and call it objective reality. We may taste in it a particle of madness if a lunatic passed through that locality, or a particle of complete and beautiful nonsense if a man has been looking at a lovely field and imagining upon it a lovely factory producing buttons or bombs. But on the whole, these mad particles would be diluted in the drop of objective reality that we hold up to the light in our test tube. Moreover, this objective reality will contain something that transcends optical illusions and laboratory tests. It will have elements of poetry, of lofty emotion, of energy and endeavor, and even here the button king may find his rightful place, of pity, pride, passion, and the craving for a thick steak at the recommended roadside eating place. So when we say reality, we are really thinking of all this in one drop, an average sample of a mixture of 1,000,000 individual realities. And it is in this sense of human reality that I use the term reality when placing it against a backdrop such as the worlds of the Carrick, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the Metamorphosis, which are specific fantasies.